I'm having, and this is great, okay? I mean, I love it because I appreciate the passion and I appreciate the loyalty. But I threw something out about Mike Alford, the Florida State athletic director, and just how poor of a job, in my opinion, he did with Mike Norvell in the contract extension. And people are like, well, what are you supposed to do? The guy goes in 13-0, and Alabama wants him. You have to sign him to a contract extension. Sure. Absolutely. And I totally supported him getting a contract extension. But what has become so insanely wrong? Why would you give this man an 8-year contract extension? If you had given him 4 years, I would have said fine. And here we are, a year and a half into it. You know it's not going to work. You know he's going to get fired. Okay. You got to pay the buyout and lick your wounds. But you gave a guy who was 3-6, then 5-7. He was 8-13, 6-10 in the ACC in his first 2 years. Went for it on a ridiculous fourth down, his side of the field against Notre Dame, right out of the gate. What wasn't smart enough to play a prevent defense against Jacksonville. I mean, these were absolute colossal mistakes made by your coach. Then he finds Jordan Travis. He gets ahead of everyone else in the transfer portal. He finds the Trey Bensons and Johnny Wilsons and Jared. And he got tons of credit for it, including myself. He can't get those players now. He was the first. He was brilliant at the time. And then he was never able to recover, after the snub. And the snub is his fault. Because during that incredible run of 19 wins in a row, there were so many times where Florida State barely got by, really by the seat of their pants. Still bad coaching, still some awful situations, just phenomenal talent in the ability to get out of problematic situations. Go back to that game in Gainesville a few years ago. Florida State was a big favorite. They should have clobbered Florida. They should have slaughtered Florida. They didn't. It took the greatest, arguably, performance by a Florida State quarterback, historically speaking, to just barely win that game in Jordan Travis, okay? To just barely win that game. And there were so many times where they weren't ready, and they had to come from behind. And I know you're going to tell me, oh, well, hey, Ballou, shut up. They've still won 19 straight games. Oh, really? Well, maybe if they were ready against Northern Alabama, you wouldn't have had to have run Jordan Travis down 13-0 to try to provide a spark. To me, that's coaching. The lack thereof it. They weren't ready. That's Mike Norvell's fault. Okay? It is. Just like it was Mike Norvell's fault a few weeks ago with a 42-0 lead. He left Thomas Castellanos in there, and he rolled his ankle. I was at the game. 42-0. Why in the hell is he out there? The game went through a weather delay. Okay? You got a sloppy track. Why is he playing? It's Mike Norvell. He's a bad coach. Okay? He's a terrible in-game coach. He's a good guy. Bad coach. How in the hell did Mike Alford sign off on an 8-year contract extension? 8 years. It's criminal. It's absolutely criminal. How long was the Napier deal? Do you know? He got fired yesterday. He had, how many years did he have left?
Let me look exactly. I want to say it was like 3 or 4.
Okay.
Let me double check that.
I mean, Jimmy Sexton walked into Mike Norvell's office, walked into Mike Alford's office and said, listen, here's the deal. He's not going to go to Alabama, but here are the terms of the deal. Sign it. An 8-year contract extension for a guy who was 3-6 and 5-7 before he went on this little bit of a tear. And look at what he's done since. 2-10 and 3-4. Mike Norvell has lost 9 straight Atlantic Coast Conference games. How in the hell can you lose 9 straight games in this conference? In the Atlantic Coast Conference, you have lost 9 straight games. How does that happen? I'm all ears. Please tell me. How do you lose 9 straight games in the ACC? How have you gone 5-15 since getting crushed in that bowl game? 5-15. Your only 5 losses are Charlie South, East Texas A&M, Kent State, California by a field goal, and the big win against Alabama. Those are your wins. It's the 4th time that Mike Norvell's had a 4-game losing streak. I don't think Bobby Bowden had that more than once in his career. And I get it. You can't compare him to Bowden. Well, then why in the hell you give him an 8-year contract extension? I would have no problem with this if it was a normal 4-year extension. Get it out there, pay him, let the recruits know he's not going. Fine. But 8 years? You sign. If you're not Nick Saban, you do not get an 8-year contract extension.
Signetti just got one.
Napier got a 1-year.
Yeah.
Okay, well.
And Napier signed a 7-year deal when he first got to Florida in 2021.
That's different. Not completely, but it's different. You believe he's the guy, you bring him in. Well, Norvell didn't get his extension until the completion of 4 years. Okay? And again, 2 of those years were a disaster. And then he went on this nice run, and you knew that all these players were leaving. And you knew that all these players were going to quit and not show up for that bowl game. He's never been able to recover. So this is all Florida State's fault. And Mike Alford comes out today with that, really just 3rd grade material about what's going on. We ain't going to fire him right now. It's under, observation. We'll address it. No kidding, you're not going to fire him right now. You can't afford to fire him. He's there for one reason only. You can't afford to say goodbye to him. You don't have the dollars to do that. And now you're going to hit up everyone once again and ask them, we need more. We need more. Spend more money. Look at how foolish this organization is. Look at what they did with that stadium. Why? What? The stadium was fine. College football is built on cathedrals. College football is built on a fresh can of paint on the walls and floor, and go on out there and play. This isn't the NFL, okay? This isn't about the upper class. This is about students. This is about ripping off your shirt and painting your face. Oh, no, we want to give the boosters leather boy. We want to give them lazy boys with cup holders. We want waitresses to come up to them and serve them drinks with umbrellas in them at a freaking football game. Useless money. Millions and millions. And you think the players care? The players cared about getting paid. They don't care about this anymore. They would have cared about this, in the early 2000s. They don't care about standalone buildings. They don't care about incredibly looking locker rooms. They don't care about building they don't care about it anymore. All they care about is getting paid. And you keep losing to teams that are nowhere near you when it comes to NIL money, are nowhere near you when it comes to ranking recruiting classes. And even though Florida State's been really bad, I'll tell you what, they've been a hell of a lot better than Stanford, Pittsburgh, and Virginia. They have far more money and resources when it comes to recruiting, when it comes to everything within the football program than Virginia, Pittsburgh, and Stanford. They may have more than those three schools combined. Stanford's got money, don't get me wrong. But with academics, they knock out their starting quarterback. They're without their starting running back. They're without a couple of members of their starting offensive line. They're without key defensive guys. This is Stanford, one of the worst teams in Division I football. I mean, Miami's like a 31-point favorite against them this week. They beat Florida State's brains in. How do you start the game with a delay a game? How do you start the game with a delay of game? Do they not practice? What a totally, completely broken program. Mike Norvell should just walk away. Really. He says he loves Florida State more than any of us. No one cares more about Florida State than Mike Norvell. If Mike Norvell really cared with the bye going on, he would walk away. Just quit. Give him a nice check. Give him, give him 10 million, 20, whatever. Just go away. If he really cared. They don't get his message. He's a good guy. He is a bad coach. Okay? God, that felt good. I recommend it to each and every one of you. Even if you have to open up your car window and yell and scream, it feels so good. As I say all the time, the microphone, ladies and gentlemen, it's my drug.
Rick Ballou here. Thank you so much for watching 1010XL Seminoles on YouTube. Before you click away, please like and subscribe to this channel. Be sure to check out other team-specific channels on 1010XL Network and YouTube.